You've been lied to about SBA loans. Here's the harsh truth they don't want you to know. The SBA tells small business owners that their loans are the gold standard for business funding, that they're designed to help you succeed, that they're your best option for getting capital. I've built 2 7-figure businesses over the past 25 years. I've applied for business loans the traditional way more times than I can count. And I was denied over and over and over again. Until my business partner, Chris, showed me the truth. He spent over 15 years and counting working inside the financial system. He's worked with thousands of clients, helping them improve their credit scores and lower their debt to income ratios so that they could get approved for funding. And what he revealed, it changed everything. Today, I'm exposing the biggest lie the SBA has been telling business owners for decades. And if you're thinking about applying for an SBA loan, you need to hear this before you waste months of your life and potentially damage your credit score. Welcome to the Funding Insider Show. I'm Chris, and my business partner's name is also Chris. Now, before we dive in, let me tell you a little bit about my background, because I want you to understand that I'm not just some guy on a video telling you what to do. I've actually lived this. I'm a decorated military officer. I graduated at the top of the largest officer training school class in the history of the United States Air Force. This was right after 9/11. And I received an award voted on by my peers as the top officer trainee who demonstrated the most integrity and character during training. I'm also a top-rated professor of leadership and peak performance at the University of Colorado. My passion was and still is teaching people how to perform at their highest level. And over the past 25 years, I've built 2 7-figure businesses from the ground up. Now, I don't share any of that to impress you. I share it to impress upon you that I know that it can be hard to figure out who you can trust, especially when you're meeting them on the internet. So I figured I owed it to you to share a bit of my resume to help you discern who you're listening to as you make decisions about your funding needs. So when I tell you that the traditional business funding system is broken, I'm not guessing. As a small business owner who has also worked with hundreds of small business owners, I've seen it over and over and over again. And I've also been through it personally. In fact, at this point, I've been denied by banks more times than I can count. But then my business partner, who has over 15 years of experience working with major financial institutions to help his thousands of clients win at this money game, he showed me a completely different way. And the first time I used this process, I got $45,000 in funding in less than 4 business days. 4 days, not 4 months. And here's the crazy part. I had a very high debt to income ratio at the time. Now, by traditional banking standards, I shouldn't have qualified. With this new method my business partner and I have built, it took me less than 7 minutes of actual work. In fact, all I did was answer a handful of questions inside a simple form he sent me. No stress, no hassle, no strain. It was literally the easiest and fastest funding I've ever been approved for in my entire 25-year business career. So we started this channel to pull back the curtain on how business funding really works. No BS, no sugarcoating, just the truth that most funding companies don't want you to know. So what's the lie? Here it is. Now on paper, that sounds great, right? Low interest rates, long repayment terms, government backed. What's not to love? But here's what they don't tell you. SBA loans have an approval rate of only 35% for Black-owned businesses, compared to 64% for white-owned businesses. Let that sink in for a second. And it's not just minority-owned businesses. Overall, 82% of business loan applications get denied by traditional banks. 82%. Now, when my partner first told me this, I thought, wait, that can't be right. I mean, I've got a 780 credit score. I'm a decorated military officer. I've built 2 successful businesses. I teach leadership at a major university, and I was getting denied left and right. I thought it was me. I thought I was doing something wrong. But then my partner explained what was really happening behind the scenes. He worked inside this money game for 15 years. He's seen the quotas, the risk models, the biases, whether conscious or unconscious, that are backed into the system. And the SBA loan process, it amplifies all of that. So the gold standard that's supposed to help small businesses, it's actually keeping most of them out. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not saying the SBA is evil or that people working there are bad people, but the system they're operating within, it's fundamentally broken for small business owners. Let me break down exactly why SBA loans are such a nightmare for most business owners. And I'm speaking from personal experience here. I've been through this process multiple times. First, the application process. You're looking at 2 to 4 hours just to fill out the initial application. Then they want tax returns, financial statements, business plans, projections, personal financial statements. I remember sitting at my desk, gathering all these documents thinking, this is insane. I'm running a business. I don't have time for this. And that's just to get your foot in the door. The total time investment, we're talking 10 to 20 hours of your time. Time you could be spending actually running your business, serving your customers, and making money. Second, the waiting period, 30 to 90 days. That's not a typo. You could wait 3 months just to hear back. And if you're a small business owner trying to seize an opportunity, trying to cover payroll or close a time-sensitive deal, that's a death sentence. The opportunity is gone by the time they get back to you. I learned this lesson the hard way. I had a business opportunity that required capital fast. I applied for a traditional loan, waited 6 weeks, and by the time I heard back, the opportunity was gone. Someone else jumped on it. Third, and this is the kicker, they do a hard credit pull during the pre-qualification process. So even if you get denied, your credit score takes a hit. You're literally being punished for trying to grow your business. And with your credit score hit, it only gets harder from there when you apply again at another financial institution and they see your denial. And here's the worst part. If you're a new business, forget about it. The SBA wants to see at least 2 years of business history, strong revenue, and often collateral. So if you're just starting out, or you're in your first year or trying to launch a new venture, you're basically disqualified before you even start. So let me ask you this. How is that designed to help small businesses? It's not. It's designed to help established businesses that already have access to capital. It's designed to minimize risk for the banks, not to maximize opportunity for the entrepreneurs. The people who need funding the most are the ones who can't get it. And the people who can get it, well, they probably don't need it as badly. And here's what really frustrated me. I'm a guy with a good credit score who graduated at the top of my class. I received an integrity award from my peers. I built 2 7-figure businesses. I teach leadership and peak performance at a major university. And I was being told over and over again that my credit wasn't high enough. My business wasn't established enough. My debt to income ratio was too high. When the reality is, the system was never designed for entrepreneurs like me, or like you in the first place. Now you might be wondering, why? Why is the system set up this way? And this is where my partner's insider knowledge really opened my eyes. You see, traditional banks make more money on big loans. A $5 million loan to an established corporation is way more profitable than a $50,000 loan to a small business. The paperwork is similar, the risk assessment takes the same amount of time, but the payoff is completely different. So they create all these barriers, the documentation requirements, the credit score minimums, the business history requirements to filter out the small guys. It's not personal, it's just economics. And the SBA, they're not the bad guys. They're just stuck in the middle, trying to work within a broken banking system that was designed in a completely different era. But here's what frustrates me the most. Small business owners are out here grinding, trying to build something, creating jobs, supporting their families, contributing to their communities. And they're being told that they're the problem, that their credit isn't good enough, their business isn't established enough, their revenue isn't high enough. When the reality is, this system was never designed for them in the first place. And after being denied over and over again, I was starting to believe it. I was starting to think, maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe I should just give up on this business idea. But then my partner showed me there was a better way, and it changed everything. So what's the alternative? Well, that's exactly why my partner and I started the Funding Insider Show and Turning Point Funding. After 15 years in the industry, my partner got tired of seeing good business owners get rejected by a broken system. And after being denied myself so many times, I knew there had to be a better way. So we decided to build a new system, one that actually works for small business owners. Our process takes 7 minutes of your time, not 10 to 20 hours. We use a soft pull, so there's always zero impact on your credit score. And we get you funded in 9 business days or less, not 90 days. The first time I used this process, I got $45,000 in less than 4 business days. And remember, I had a very high debt to income ratio at the time. By traditional standards, I shouldn't have qualified. But it worked, and it was the easiest funding process I've ever experienced in 25 years of running businesses. And here's the crazy part. We can work with businesses that are literally 1 day old. You could open your EIN today and qualify for funding tomorrow. How? Because we don't use the same outdated risk models that traditional banks use. My partner has spent over 15 years inside this money game building relationships with hundreds of boutique lenders who specialize in funding small businesses. These aren't the big banks. These are lenders who actually want to work with entrepreneurs. And we've created a proprietary two-phase system that matches you with the best options for your specific situation. We're not trying to force you into a one-size-fits-all box. Now, to be clear, I'm not saying SBA loans are evil. For some businesses, especially if you're well established, you have perfect credit, and you're not in a hurry, they might make sense. But for most small business owners, especially if you need funding fast, or you're just starting out, or you've been denied by traditional banks, there's a better way. And I know it works because I've lived it. So here's what I want you to do. If you're a small business owner who needs funding, don't waste your time with the SBA. At least not until you've explored your other options. We've put together a free resource called the Max Funding Analysis. It takes about 5 minutes to complete, and it'll show you exactly how much funding you qualify for without impacting your credit score. The link is in the description below, and when you submit it, you'll also get access to 4 free bonuses worth $897, including a one-on-one strategy call with our team. And if you want to learn more about how business funding really works, the stuff they don't teach you in business school, make sure you subscribe to this channel. We're dropping new videos twice a week with insider knowledge you won't find anywhere else. My partner's 15 years of experience in this rigged money game, combined with my 25 years of building businesses and working with hundreds of small business owners, distilled into practical advice you can actually use. In our next video, I'm going to break down the exact two-phase funding method we use to get our clients 2 to 3 times more capital than they'd get from a traditional bank. It's the same method I used to get $45,000 in 4 days with a high debt to income ratio. And I'm going to show you exactly how it works step by step. You're not going to want to miss that. Look, I know what it's like to be denied over and over again. I know what it's like to feel like the system is rigged against you, because I've been there. But I also know what it's like on the other side, when you finally get approved, when the funding hits your account, when you can finally move forward with your business vision. And that's what I want for you. So thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, do me a favor and hit that like button. It helps us reach more businesses. It also helps us talk to more business owners who need to hear this message. Oh, and also drop a comment below and let me know, have you ever applied for an SBA loan? What was your experience? And I want you to know I read every single comment, and I'd love to hear your story. I'll see you in the next one.